Hey, sis, and welcome back to Sis, Your Scene. I'm your host, Mercedes. Now, before we get into today's topic, I do want to give a trigger warning. I am going to be talking about depression. I know it's not an easy topic, but if I am trying to create a space that's real, I have to talk about stuff that I would normally hide behind a smile. So if you've ever felt like you're tired for no reason, like you're showing up for everybody, but nobody's checking on you, then this episode is for you. If this topic is tough for you, take your time listening or step away if you need to. But remember, you are not alone in this. So, if I'm being honest, I can remember back to 2016 when I thought, you know what, I think I might be depressed. I had no motivation. I had no care in the world. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to get out of the bed. I wasn't cleaning up my room. I literally had trash everywhere. And I just felt like I was drowning, but nobody could see me. And I mean, that could be because I didn't want anybody to see me. I kept a smile on my face. I kept pushing because that's what you're supposed to do. Especially as a black woman, we're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be tough. You don't never let them see you sweat, right? That's what everybody says. Cry when you're alone. And that's what I was doing, crying when I was alone. And I was so tired of crying, but I didn't know who to go to for help. I didn't know where to start looking for help. I didn't want to hear, oh, you're not depressed, you're just lazy. And I know so many of us have heard that. And so I just kind of pushed those feelings down as best as I could, and I kept a smile on my face, and I kept going through life. And I did that for years. There was a point in my battle with depression, I would say 2020 is where things really started to change for me, and I couldn't keep faking it. I was calling out of work all the time. And this is during the height of the pandemic, right? So we are working from home. 2020, 2021, I'm working from home. I'm living with my boyfriend. He's getting up. He's going to work because he was an essential worker. And I would be like, have a great day. And he's like, you have a great day too. Oh, I will. And as soon as he would leave, I would get back in the bed. I would stay in my pajamas all day long. I would stay in the room with the door closed, blackout curtains pulled shut. Sometimes I would cry myself back to sleep, and sometimes I would just fall back to sleep. And then he would text later in the day on the way home. Looked like I had been up and about all day long. And I did that for a long time. And then I thought, okay, maybe it's the job. Maybe it's the job that has me feeling like this. So I got a new job. And things were different, right? Because it was a new job. There was new things to learn. There was new people to interact with. Things felt different. And I was happy, or so I thought. And then those feelings came back. And I'm like, dang, I like this job. So maybe it's not the job? And I was like, okay, let me try therapy for real, right? Because I'm miserable at this point. So I started going to therapy, and I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell a stranger about everything that I was thinking. And I definitely didn't want her to be like, oh, girl, you got to go to the hospital. You need to be checked in. You need some serious help, because I don't have time for that. So I didn't really show up to therapy as real and raw as I should have. And even with that, she still saw the depression, and she diagnosed me with major depressive disorder. She had me talk to a psychiatrist, and they recommended I take antidepressants. Now, going to therapy is already like a huge faux pas in the Black community, and now you want me to be on medicine. Like, you want me to take drugs for this? I'm not doing that. And that's what I told them. I was like, I think I can work through this without medication. I don't think I need medication. And so I didn't take it. 2021 into 2022, things are not getting better for me. I'm at the point now where I am crying on the way to work. Once I park, I fix my makeup. I go inside. Hey, good morning. Y'all ready for a productive day? Corny, fake, corporate customer service Mercedes. Lunch would come. I would close my office door and I'd cry. Lunch would end. I'd fix my face. I open the door. I finish my day. I get in the car. I cry on the way home. I fix my face and I walk in and I would speak to my boyfriend. Oh, my day was so great. How was your day? Just, faking the funk. Fake it till you make it. Until I couldn't fake it anymore. I cried and went through that routine for weeks. And one day I went to my car on my break and I broke down. I text one of my friends. She was working in the same office building, and she literally is God sent, because I was like, I'm not okay. I can't make it. I cannot do this anymore. And she was like, where are you? I said, I'm in my car and I'm not coming back inside. I'm not coming back here. And she came out and she sat in the car with me and she just sat there while I cried. She didn't try to reassure me. She didn't try to give me advice. She didn't try to make me see my blessings, which people tend to do. Like, oh, you're so blessed. Look at everything you've accomplished. Like, you don't think I know that? You don't think I feel like a crazy person because I'm looking at all of the things that I have that other people would love to have and I'm not happy? I don't want to hear that. And she didn't say that. She just let me cry. She let me vent. And it felt good. It felt like a release. And I fixed my face and I went back inside and I had a great day at work. But that was just temporary. It wasn't permanent. And after a while, those feelings started to come back. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm tired. And not only was I tired, I was almost numb. Like, I couldn't cry anymore. I'm done crying. I'm done faking it. I'm done showing up to this job, pretending to be happy. I'm done picking up the phone when my mom calls and saying, like, oh, I'm good, everything's great, and talking about my work day, when really I'm just hiding how I feel. And I knew that she could tell that I was hiding, but she didn't want to press it. So I know that she would ask certain questions and try to figure it out, but I wasn't ready to talk to her. I was just tired. And so I came up with the plan, how I was going to end it all. That was the first time in my life I had ever had thoughts of harming myself or unaliving myself. And I was scared. I wasn't scared of the action. I was scared with how comfortable I was with the thought of doing it. Because, I wanted to live. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have kids. I wanted to raise a family in a house filled with love. I didn't want my mom to get a call saying that her daughter was no longer here. I could see the look on my best friend's face when she would get that news. And I didn't want them to have that pain, but it wasn't enough to keep me wanting to live. And so I was in my car and I accelerated as fast as I could, but I stopped. And I don't know why I stopped. I know why I stopped. God stopped me. That's why I stopped. And I broke down in tears. And I went in to my house. I was like 5 minutes from home. I picked up the phone. I called my mom. And she answered, "Hey, baby." And I was crying. And she said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, Mom, I'm not okay." And she talked to me for hours. And she tried to understand how I was feeling. But of course, if you don't deal with depression, it can be a little difficult. Um, she asked if I was going to therapy. I told her, yeah, I was. She asked if I was really having conversations with my therapist. And at the time, I told her yes, but I knew that I was lying because I wasn't. And so she helped me create a plan, a routine that I've literally been following since 2021. And I don't stray from this routine. I get up every morning at the same time. I read my journal. I read my journal. I write in my journal. I read my Bible. I pray. And I spend time with God. She helped me create a playlist. It has tons of motivational gospel songs on there. Um, some are more emotional than others, but all are reminders that God has me. God is going to protect me. God is going to keep me. Um, and she encouraged me to, to talk with my therapist. And so for the first time in the 3 years I had been in therapy, I showed up real, raw, and emotional. And I started taking the antidepressants, and things changed, honestly. The way I looked at life changed. Depression doesn't always have to look like tears. Sometimes it's that quiet feeling of, I don't even have the energy to care anymore. You have to find that energy. You have to find a way to live. You have to find your purpose for living. God never said that life would be easy. He never said He wasn't going to take us through some things, but He did say He was going to take us through some things. You get what I mean? He never said we weren't going to deal with adversity, we weren't going to have challenges and difficult things to deal with, but He also never said He would leave us. He said He would get us through. And when you start to believe that, when you start to trust that, your life will change. I would read a scripture every day before I would journal. And that scripture is Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, because I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will surely help you. I will hold you with my righteous, strong hand. To me, that's a reminder that God is always with me. Sometimes I just sit and listen for Him to talk to me. I look for a sign. Sometimes I talk to Him. Sometimes I cry with Him. Sometimes I even yell because I'm angry, and that's okay. God knows what you are dealing with. He created you. He created you to go through life, this life that you are living, for a reason. Tell your story. Share your testimony. You do not have to be healed to help others. That's something that I'm learning myself. I need anyone that's listening and dealing with thoughts of depression, self-harm, self-doubt, anyone that's feeling tired, overlooked, anyone that feels like they're constantly pouring into others and nobody is pouring back into them, to remember that God has you. If no one else has you, God has you. Talk to God like you would talk to your best friend. Journal. Write to Him. Maybe you don't know what to say, and that's okay. It's okay to sit and say, God, here I am. I don't know what to say to you. I don't know how to put into words the things that I am feeling. But God, I need you. I need you in my life. I need you in this space. I need you to protect me. God, I need you to clear me. Clear the energy around me. Remove anything and anyone that is not of you from me. God, you made me. Allow me to be who you have created me to be. Move me out of my way. And when you start to truly believe that God created you for a purpose greater than you can imagine, the doors will open. The blessings will pour in. God has a plan for you. A plan that you can't even begin to imagine. Sis, depression doesn't disqualify you from being used by God. It doesn't mean that your faith is weak. It just means that you're human. And even in your lowest moments, God hasn't left you. He is still writing your story. So if all you did today was wake up and breathe, that is enough. If you've been carrying more than you can handle, I hope this reminds you you don't have to carry it alone. Keep showing up, keep healing, and remember, sis, you are seen.